In Unit 5, we're going to cover motor vehicle excise tax. I'm going to show you how to report gross receipts. We're going to delve into the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions. And then I'm going to talk about the Unfair Trade Practices Act. So I want to give you a real quick review here of motor vehicle excise tax. Obviously, every motor vehicle dealer in the state needs to be aware of this, since most of your customers will be paying motor vehicle excise tax on the vehicles you sell and may have questions regarding that tax. So the motor vehicle excise tax applies to every sale of every motor vehicle that must be registered in the state of New Mexico. And the state presumes that every time a vehicle is titled, that a sale has occurred. The tax is 4% of the price paid for the vehicle minus any trade-in credit. For non-dealer sales, however, the NADA value is used if the declared purchase price of the vehicle is lower than 80% of the trade-in or wholesale value. If a vehicle is legitimately transferred by gift, there is no sale and no excise tax is due. Any applicant for vehicle title who claims that the vehicle was received by gift will need to submit a notarized affidavit of gift of motor vehicle or boat, and that's MVD Form 10018, in which the donor and the recipient would need to affirm under oath that the vehicle was in fact transferred as a gift. So payment is due at the time the buyer applies for their certificate of title. So when you sell a vehicle, make sure and let the customer know that they will need to pay their motor vehicle excise tax. Otherwise, they are going to have some penalties. There is a penalty of 50% if the motor vehicle excise tax is imposed on a person who lives in New Mexico and they either do not pay it in a timely manner or they do not pay it at all. There's also an additional fee if it goes 90 days. So make sure and let your customers know that they definitely need to pay their motor vehicle excise tax as soon as possible. And there's also a 50% add-on penalty that has the effect of increasing that tax literally to 6%. So and just as a side note, if your customers want to know this, 25% of the tax goes to the local government's road fund, and then the remainder goes to the highway infrastructure fund. So, another thing you might want to let your lawmakers know is, when you sell a vehicle and the customer pays their motor vehicle excise tax, that's creating money for the state to build roads and bridges. So, a great thing I love about this business is not only can you make a great living for you and your family, but the more successful you are, the more money the state of New Mexico has to build roads and bridges. Definitely be able to remind your lawmaker of that as well. So obviously, if a person lives outside the state of New Mexico, they're not going to be liable for that motor vehicle excise tax, or if they served in the armed forces of the United States or suffered while serving in the armed forces from some type of connected loss. And what I mean by that, if they've lost a leg or both legs or both arms, then they're actually exempt from the motor vehicle excise tax. Let's talk about filing gross receipts. This is required for any business that collects gross receipts or pays gross receipts. And a dealer must maintain registration with Taxation and Revenue Department. You are encouraged to file electronically, and I'm sure you are aware of this by now, but the combined reporting system, that CRS we used to use, that you to file withholding gross receipts and compensating taxes, has been split into separate tax returns tailored to the needs of specific taxpayers. So that former CRS identification number is now your business tax identification number. Sometimes we'll call that your BTIN. The number remains the same, and the 3-character suffix has been added to the end to create a unique account ID for each tax program that applies to you. And I'm going to show you your filing dates here in just a few moments. There are now 4 separate forms and accounts in TAP that are used to file for different types of gross receipts tax. There's governmental gross receipts, leased vehicle gross receipts tax, and vehicle surcharge, and interstate telecommunications gross receipts and gross receipts tax. Taxpayers are only required to file the return that applies to them. And for most motor vehicle dealers, this means you will only be registered for and need to file the gross receipts tax return, and that's going to be Form TRD 41413. Unless you are a new motor vehicle dealer that is leasing vehicles. So for most of us, we're just going to be doing that gross receipts tax filing. Businesses that average more than $200 per month are required to file monthly reports that are due on or before the 25th of the month following the period being reported. And you must file on a timely basis even when no tax is due. Licensed New Mexico dealers always need to realize that dealers are exempt from paying gross receipts tax and therefore can choose to file either monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually. A dealer may choose to file semi-annually since dealers will be reporting all zeros for gross receipts tax. And I want to repeat that very important information. Dealers are exempt from paying gross receipts tax and therefore can choose to file either monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually. A dealer may choose to file semi-annually since dealers will be reporting zeros for gross receipts. Also, this will only apply to you if you're only selling motor vehicles. Now, if you're selling parts and services, you will more than likely be reporting those every month. But if you're only selling motor vehicles and not selling parts, then this filing period will apply to you. On this screen, you're going to see filing dates for New Mexico businesses. So if you are not selling any type of parts or products that require you collect sales tax, then dealers can choose to file semi-annually. And as you see here, your January 1st to June 30th due date would be July 25th. Then your July 1st to December 31st filing date would be January 25th of the following year. However, if you are, say, for example, selling tires and batteries and car parts, be sure to file either quarterly or more than likely you would be filing monthly in those scenarios. Let's do a quick review of the state's taxpayer access point here. Here you see that login page. And as you can see, your tab page will look very similar to this. You can view the summary tab here to find current information regarding your account. Whenever you are on your account, I always recommend clicking on the Action Center to see if you have any messages from TRD, so you can view very important messages that have come from the Taxation and Revenue Department. You can also click on the Settings tab to view or make changes. And if you want to view your account in full, you can click on the More tab to manage access, as you see here. And you can view your messages that your business has received from TRD. You can click on the Letters tab to view any letters that you may have received from Taxation and Revenue. And you can click on the Payments and Return tab to view payments and returns, or click on Names and Addresses to update your account. And you can easily view your previous submissions to TRD as well. I want to show you here, if you click on Messages, as you see here, you can also see all of the filing submissions, and you can also view your filing submissions, or if you ever want to archive the messages, you can just click the Archive button at the right. And I do suggest that you archive your messages once in a while. That way you're only going to be seeing the current messages when you're logging on. On that same page, you can also scroll down and register a new account or easily upload your tax information, such as your W-2s or your 1099s. You can file your gross receipts via mail, but TRD always prefers that you file electronically. You can file by mail if your sales tax liability is less than $1,000. And I always want to give you that reminder, if you ever have any questions, you can call Taxation and Revenue at 505-827-0700. However, as you see here on the screen, online filing is required if your tax liability is more than $1,000. So as you see here, once you file electronically, you must continue to do so. Remember, you can always call Taxation and Revenue. That's 505-827-0700 with any questions on this. So when we're at the TAP website, you can log in, and always be sure to save your login credentials, your login and password in a safe, secure place, so you'll always have those handy. Now let's go ahead and file a return. You can always review this page extensively, but when you're ready to go, you can just click the Next button there and make sure all of your information is correct on this page. Always make sure and double check your federal tax ID number and your state sales tax number, your email, and your phone numbers. Check and make sure those are accurate. Then you'll click the Next button. On this screen, you're going to be asked if you have any gross receipts to collect. If you have only sold motor vehicles and have not sold any car parts or batteries, etc., you can click No Then you click the next button, and you're going to see an overview page just like this that's showing a summary of gross receipts you've collected. And this screen shows that you've collected 0. And this would be the scenario if you're only selling motor vehicles and not selling any parts. You'll have all zeros there, and you'll need to agree to the terms and conditions. And when you're agreeing that everything is correct, it states right there that you declare under penalty of perjury that all statements and information contained in this electronic report are true and accurate. So you're going to click the submit button, and you have just filed your gross receipts tax. Now, I do want to show you, however, if you owe any money to TRD. Say, for example, you've sold some car parts or some batteries or tires, something like that. So in that case, we're going to do things just a little bit differently. So when you're asked if you have any gross receipts to report, instead of clicking the no like we did just a few moments ago, you're going to click yes. Then you're going to scroll down here and select your location. So let's say, for example, your dealership is located in Albuquerque. Then you would click directly on the blue Albuquerque link, as you see here, or wherever your dealership is located. So don't forget, you must click on the blue link that identifies the location of your dealership. Then on the next screen, you're going to state whether or not you have any business credits to claim. Now you're going to see a screen that shows the gross receipt details. You must enter the total amount of gross receipts you collected. So let's say, for example, you sold $1,494 for the month. You're just going to enter $1,494 in the gross receipts box there. On the next screen, you're going to see how much tax you must pay on the amount you entered, which shows you owe the state of New Mexico $113.92, as you see there. Then you're going to click that next button. And once again, you will see what you owe. So take a look at this, and when it looks accurate, you're going to click the submit button to file. And now, like I just showed you just a few moments ago, you need to declare that everything is true and correct. You're going to click submit. Now you're going to be able to decide your next step at the very bottom of this screen. So you can either make an e-payment or mail a paper check. So let's just go ahead and choose the e-payment option. Then you can pay with credit card or e-check. And always be aware, when you choose the credit card payment to pay any monies that you owe to the state, you will have a small additional fee to cover the state's credit card processing charges. Then you're going to see a screen that says you need a valid credit card, obviously, and you're going to click next. You're going to go ahead and enter your payment information, as you see right here. You're going to enter your billing address and make sure that that's all accurate. You're going to click submit, and then finally, you're going to enter your credit card information, as you see here. And then you're going to see a confirmation message that states that it does take up to 1 day to post to your account. So if you go ahead and close that window, you will then see a payment confirmation. And you want to go ahead and print this payment confirmation up for your records. You can either email it, but I will always suggest emailing it and printing some for your hard paper files. I also want you to be aware that we have posted a great training video produced by the New Mexico Taxation and Revenue Department that shows every step of the gross receipts filing process. So you can just go to NewMexicoDealer.com. On any page, scroll down and click on New Mexico Dealer Forms, and then you'll scroll down to Taxation and Revenue YouTube channel, and a lot of very helpful information is going to be posted there for you. So once again, TRD contact information, if you need it, is 505-827-0700, or you can go straight to the TAP website if that's helpful for you, if you have any questions whatsoever. Next, I want to give you a brief overview of the New Mexico Department of Workforce Solutions, which I believe is beneficial to every dealer in the state of New Mexico, especially if you have employees. You're going to find so much valuable information here. The website is dws.statenmus, and here you see the home screen. And right over to the right, you can see the New Mexico minimum wage is now $12 an hour. That's the state minimum wage. Remember, your cities could be higher. You can also see over there to the right, the New Mexico paid sick leave law is now fully in effect as well. If you have any questions about current employment laws, you can click on the business drop-down box from the very top of the screen, and you're going to see many, many helpful resources for any business in the state, including your dealership. There to the left, you're going to see a lot of helpful information regarding unemployment insurance. You can create a login ID. There you can see and download a very, very helpful employer handbook. If you have employees, this website is going to be a great asset for you. You can also report unemployment fraud. And here under the business outreach section, you can actually post your job openings for free. And I think this is really great because as a business owner, I'm sure you're aware of how hard it is to keep open positions staffed. And you can actually start an apprentice program. You can post an internship. And there you're also going to see a Start a Business link, which contains a lot of great information for any current business owner as well. Underneath the business support section, see the link that says Job Description Writer. This link will help you write job descriptions, which I think is pretty cool. You can find out about different types of tax credits that your dealership may qualify for. You can find out about bids the state has put out, and you would be surprised at the number of bids that you may qualify for, especially when New Mexico needs motor vehicles. You can find your local workforce connection center, and over at the top right of the screen there, you can see all types of rules and regulations, such as the current wages and hourly rates for every city. Remember, the city your dealership is located in could have a higher minimum wage than the current state wage, which is $12 an hour. So you must ensure that you are always paying the correct wages. Otherwise, you could face severe financial penalties. You can learn about child labor laws, federal and state posters that you must display. And I'm going to click on that link in a moment. You can also find out about information about hiring employees. You'll learn about New Mexico's sick leave laws, the Affordable Care Act, and paid family and medical leave as well. And I want to click on a couple of these, which I think is going to be very beneficial. First, let's click on the state and federal posters link. Here you're going to see the federal and state posters that you must display in your dealership. And by the way, we are going to cover these posters extensively later on in your dealer training course. You can also click on the New Mexico New Hire directory there, and you're taken to the New Mexico New Hired directory, and it talks about paid sick leave and things like that. You're also going to be able to easily print up your sick leave poster that must be displayed as well. And there you're going to see a screenshot of that paid sick leave poster as well. And I also want you to be very aware, if you do have any questions at any time, you can call 888-878-1607 at any time for any of that contact information there. And there, right there, you see on the screen, there's a lot of specific phone numbers that you see on the screen there. And I really hope that you have found this information very helpful. I think any business owner such as you will definitely benefit from knowing about these state resources. As we close this unit, I want to talk to you real quickly about the Unfair Trade Practices Act. Very important that every dealer is aware of the Federal Trade Commission's Unfair Trade Practices Act, which prohibits unfair and deceptive acts or practices in the marketplace and will apply to every dealership. This law applies to consumer transactions involving the sale or lease of goods. Every New Mexico dealership will fall under this category. All regulations apply to print, television, display, internet, and any other type of ad medium. There are several unlawful activities that are strictly prohibited from the Unfair Trade Practices Act, including passing off goods or services as those of another. Example, you can't represent that product or service was manufactured by company A when it was actually manufactured by company X, okay? I want you to be aware you can never claim that goods came from a particular place when in fact they did not. Let's say, for example, you're selling a four-wheeler and the customer asks you where it was made and you say it was made in Arizona when you actually know it was really made in China. You can never, ever claim that goods came from a particular place when they did not. Representing that goods are new when they're actually used. You know, a lot of dealers actually buy brand new vehicles from franchise motor vehicle dealers and then resell them on their used lot. And that's fine, but no matter what, you can never represent that a vehicle that you're selling on your lot is new. Even if you go out and buy that brand new Chevy Silverado from your local Chevrolet dealership and you're selling it on the lot, you cannot represent it as new anymore. The only party that can sell a new motor vehicle are new motor vehicle dealers like Honda, Chevrolet, Toyota. So make sure that you never say that vehicle is new. Even if it only has 7 or 8 miles on it, make sure that you advertise it as used. Claiming falsely that goods or services are of a particular quality or grade when they're not. So you can't say a vehicle is loaded when it does not have all options. You can never make false or misleading statements about another business. I want to really concentrate on this. Let's say you're getting ready to close a deal and you're going to make a lot of money on that vehicle, and all of a sudden the customer says, well, wait a second, before I buy this car and sign all the paperwork with you, I'm going to run down here to Joe Bob's and see what he's got. And then you say something like, well, Joe Bob's got the highest prices in town. He's selling nothing but junk down there. You would have violated the law. So you can never make false or misleading statements about another business. You cannot advertise goods or services without the intent to actually sell them. So that would cover like bait and switch. So where you advertise, a vehicle that you don't even have, that's obviously never going to be allowed. You can't make false or misleading statements about prices. So you can't say a vehicle's on sale today when it's actually been on sale for quite some time. You can't say for sale today only, something like that. There's also some FTC deceptive advertising practices that I want to cover with you real quick. You can't run inaccurate photographs. Like you can't run an ad in your local newspaper with a beautiful 2020 Cadillac Escalade for $5,000 and the vehicle on your lot is actually a 1996 Chevy Tahoe. So you can't run inaccurate photographs or abbreviations that are not readily understood. So, sometimes us in the industry, we know WAC is with approved credit. Well, a lot of our customers don't know that. So be sure of that. You can't use asterisks that contradict the message of the original advertisement. And you can't make claims such as lower prices due to size or inventory. You can't run false repossession sales, or you can't fail to make advertised vehicles available unless that's expressly stated in your ad. You can't use the term certified unless it actually has been certified by the manufacturer. So that's something you certainly want to be aware of. We've completed another unit, and I always want you to be aware that you can review this unit and any other unit in your dealer continuing education course at newmexicodealer.com. Once again, that's newmexicodealer.com. Just click on the dealer videos link at the top of any web page of the website to review the content in this training course. And at that time, you can just fast forward to the content that you want to review. And without having to log into the learning management system that you're on now, you'll be able to just jump on the website there, click on dealer videos, and then you'll easily be able to scroll forward to any content that you want to review. And that makes it a little bit easier to review the content after you've taken the course. Remember, newmexicodealer.com. Just click on dealer videos there to watch any of the content that we're reviewing right now.